Yo, what up, Street Talks? Eric Kim. So, another thought. What is the purpose of humanity? So, this is kind of a fun idea for me because based on this notion kind of rests everything. So, for me, the purpose of humanity is for human to live, for human beings to exist in this universe for like 10 quadrillion years and into infinity and perpetuity in the ideal world. So, was it Homo sapiens? We've existed. I think Homo sapiens, or just Homo, us, whatever. I think we've lived on planet Earth for at least 500,000 years, I think. And, assuming Taleb's Lindy law holds into effect, there's a pretty good likelihood that we humans will exist for another 500,000 years. So that's kind of cool, right? 100, 500. Consider that like Jesus only came around 2,000 years ago. So it's like a lot of Jesuses. But anyways, so the basic notion is, what will humanity 500,000 years from now look like? It's so funny, crazy. Like, I think about the word 500,000 years. Like, that's just so difficult to think. Like, even the internet, the internet's 20, 30 years old, something like that. And it's difficult for me to think 500,000 years. Let's say the average human lives 100 years. Let's say 500,000 years. 50,000 generations of humans, man, I don't even know what that looks like. I might have to diagram this. But anyways, so it seems for me the point of humanity is for us to continue to reproduce, for us to continue to conquer planet Earth and become, I don't know, like take over the sea, and then, hopefully one day go to Mars or, become interplanetary or whatever. And I think that's the ultimate ambition of people like Steve Jobs, Elon Musk, and Jeff Bezos, is we want to become interplanetary. Because I think their fear is that, the Earth is fucked. But I'm more optimistic. I think the Earth will be, around for at least another 500,000 years, even with us humans kind of fucking it up. I think the Earth is actually much more robust than we tend to think it is. But anyways, so let's assume, humanity continues able to thrive on planet Earth for another 500,000 years. My thought is humans will probably eventually get bored of Earth and want to go to space anyways, just for the hell of it, just for a sense of fun. But anyways, so what is the point of humanity? So first of all, for us not to die, right? Things which are more scary to me is if there was a nuclear fallout where there's all the countries dropped the nukes and then the Earth was uninhabitable, obviously that would be horrible. But even if that happened, truth be told, I think somehow we humans would be able to build underground bunkers and still be able to live okay. But anyways, assuming there's no nuclear fallout and stuff like that, it seems like the point of humanity is for us humans to be like a virus, for us to keep propagating and taking over the universe. And if we think about this purely from just let's see, maybe more from empirical perspective. We humans, we're just essentially biological organisms, assuming you don't believe in an afterlife or some sort of spiritual something behind the universe, whatever it is. Let's say only us human beings exist, let us say. And these animals on the planet and biological life. Then kind of comes the question, what do you want from your life, and how should humanity live? So actually, what I find interesting with Calamity is that ultimately, if you think about humanity just kind of zooming out in terms of just the ultimate, zoomed out, even calamities that kill lots of people, in the grand scheme of things, kind of not that big of a deal. If you think about even Genghis Khan, all the people he killed, raped, pillaged, and stuff like that, or all the bubonic plague. Now we hear stuff like the bubonic plague, and we're just whatever. And now that we're actually going through a real calamity ourselves, of course we're freaking out. But ultimately, as long as humanity in general could continue to thrive, I think it's actually all good. So then comes the question, is a point for us to just indefinitely reproduce and continuing to just, you know, live out our lives? I actually think the point of humanity is to create and rear epic individuals, and for us to like, you know, in a sense, there's no like point to humanity, but I do like the idea that we could continue to like artistically thrive, and we could continue to conquer the universe as far as it goes. So this is actually where space travel is interesting to me, because I think the human spirit is all about expelling and expressing and putting out our power for us to just conquer. I think we humans, we're the apex predator, we're the conquerors. And so it looks like the point of humanity is for us to conquer the universe. And, you know, even assuming, let's assume that there's no intelligent life forms out there besides us humans, then certainly what makes us humans different or unique is our intelligence. And obviously, like, what's the source of our intelligence? The body. So it's not just like building the brain for the sake of the brain, but it's for us to love and enjoy our bodies. And so, you know, physiological thriving is also really important. So that's the reason I like to lift weights, augment my muscles and my bones to the max, eat a lot of meat and stuff like that. The reason why I personally wouldn't want to go to Mars or do space travel is because I like meat too much and I like lifting weights. And I also like my own body. And I also like high-speed internet and stuff like that. But still, yeah, it looks like the point of humanity is for us to thrive, you know, at least hopefully another 500,000 years, inner space, galaxy. You know, in the perfect world, this is what I would like. I would like us humans to, you know, exist 500,000 years, a million years, 10 million years, 100 million years, a billion years, 10 billion years, a trillion years into the future. Now, a lot of people tend to be very pessimistic about things. I actually tend to be the eternal optimist. And how am I so optimistic? Well, that'll be the point of another video that I do in the future. But generally speaking, it's, I think, some sort of pain, suffering, post-traumatic growth and stuff like that is what makes me so optimistic. So all the trauma that I personally experienced. And just kind of knowing that once you're able to conquer the fear of death, then nothing could hold you back and scare you.